Hello and welcome students. Myself Laikur Rahman. Today we are going to start a topic conservation of biodiversity. Biodiversity can be conserved into two ways such as in situ and ex situ conservation. In this video lecture we are going to study in situ conservation. In situ conservation is the process of conservation of habitats, species, and ecosystems in their natural habitat. It is preferable for conservation and preservation of biodiversity if habitats are in rather good condition, but if habitats are degraded with competition for land, etc., specifying the need of removal of some species from the area to save them, then the situation demands for the ex situ method. From the civilization, man is cutting trees, hunting wild animals, encroaching wild habitats, and causing threat to wildlife. As a result, many plant and animal species may have become extinct. But in the true sense, man realized the necessity to conserve the ecosystems with their components in the second half of the 20th century and started taking efforts to mitigate the damage already done to the nature. During past 3 decades, several national parks, sanctuaries, and other protected areas have been established to conserve the biodiversity. Several species have been declared as endangered or rare, and certain measures have been taken to improve wildlife. In this image, you can see the various national parks which are established in India at different locations. For example, Sundarban is very dynamic and potential ecosystem in India. It harbors 31 major species of mammals. The mammalian species that once existed in Sundarban and have become extinct today are Javan rhinoceros and wild buffalo, swamp deer, barking deer, and hawk deer. Here you can see the images of Javan rhinoceros and swamp deer, which have been extinct from Sundarban. Now moving forward, we'll see the Royal Bengal tiger. Scientific name is Panthera tigris has its uniqueness for adaptation in the mangrove habitat, having distribution in the Gangetic Delta of West Bengal and Bangladesh. Due to indiscriminate hunting for its valuable body parts and regular encroachment into its natural habitat, there is continuous man-animal conflict which eventually resulted in declining of tiger population in Sundarban areas of both the countries. It is a flagship species also as an indicator of health of forest and ecosystem. It has been considered as globally endangered according to IUCN Red List in the year 2006 and a conservation-dependent species listed under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act 1972 in India and Appendix 1 of the CITES. Considering the importance and impact, Sundarban Tiger Reserve had been established for in-situ conservation of Royal Bengal tiger and other indigenous species of that locality in the year 1973. Moving forward, in-situ conservation of forests can be achieved with the cooperation of IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, UNEP, United Nations Environment Programme, CGIAR, Consultative Group on International Agriculture Research, CIFOR, Center for International Forestry Research. The IUCN affirms that a goal of conservation is the maintenance of existing genetic diversity and viable populations of all taxa in the wild in order to maintain biological interactions, ecological processes, and function. Conservation managers and decision makers should adopt a realistic and integrated approach to conservation implementation. The UNEP, United Nations Environment Programme, is responsible for coordinating responses to environmental issues within the United Nations system. It was established by Maurice Strong, its first director, after the United Nations Conference on Human Environment in Stockholm in June 1972. The CGIAR, formerly the Consultative Group of International Agriculture Research, is a global partnership that unites international organizations engaged in research about food security. In the CIFOR, the Center for International Forestry Research is a non-profit scientific research organization that conducts research on the use and management of forests with a focus on tropical forests in developing countries. Similarly, in-situ conservation can be achieved through specifically developed techniques such as artificial insemination, embryo transfer, cloning, etc. Now, what is artificial insemination? It is the deliberate introduction of sperm into the female cervix or uterine cavity for the purpose of achieving a pregnancy through in vivo fertilization or in vitro fertilization. It is a fertility treatment for humans and is common practice in animal breeding including dairy cattle and pigs. Embryo transfer refers to a step in the process of assisted reproduction in which embryos are placed into the uterus of female with the intent to establish a pregnancy. This technique, which is often used in connection with in vitro fertilization, may be used in humans or in animals, in which the situation of the goals may vary. The last is cloning. Cloning describes the processes used to create an exact genetic replica of another cell, tissue, or organism. The copied material, which has the same genetic makeup as the original, is referred to as a clone. The most famous clone was a Scottish sheep named Jolly. So student, I hope you all must have understood what is in situ conservation. Thank you.